Smaller, lighter, and faster. That is the mantra for most technology, from cell phones to computers.
Engineers inside Robins' hybrid microelectronics lab follow the same line of thinking. So what's that, you ask? Laura Lynch-Jones goes behind the lines to explain it all, how they're making many components to operate some very big aircraft.
Okay. Yeah. Stepping into Robins' hybrid lab, it's not as simple as putting one foot in front of the other. Has to be clean. Oh, my hair's got to go up in here? And completely covered. Sticky mats strip even shoe bottoms of dirt and debris.
This is an extremely fine process where it's critical that there's no contamination.
Engineer Kimberly Dockery says stray skin cells, perfume particles, even your breath can pull the plug on their precise operation. Parts for their microchips come smaller than the head of a pin. Their wires,
thinner than the diameter of your hair. It's 1/1000th of an inch.
Like most technology, it wasn't always that way.
In the old days, we had the big, gigantic cell phones, and now we have a small iPhone with 1,000 times more capabilities than we used to have, and that's similar to what we do here.
They built the brains of bomb targeting and surveillance systems for aircraft, one microscopic piece at a time.
Just replacing one part can be a devil itself.
Work on one chip can require months, sometimes a year, before it's ready to ride aboard aircraft. Pressurized ovens of sort test their handiwork in the extreme temperatures of the atmosphere.
Negative 71, 72.
Some repairs require the black glove treatment.
But you actually put your hands in it.
Engineers surgically meld their creations in an airtight chamber, locked away from even this sterile lab's slim chances of contamination.
It's like black magic, so to speak.
It's gotta be small and it's gotta be fast. The more technology they shrink onto this surface, the better the outcome for the military they support.
I know that somebody's life could be on the line.
Those things have to work, and we have to be meticulous.
It also has to be perfected here. The engineers of the 402nd Maintenance Group at Robins hold the title of the only hybrid microelectronics lab in the entire Department of Defense.
Makes me proud to work here.
At Robins Air Force Base, Laura Lynch-Jones, 13 WMAZ, Eyewitness News.
It's fascinating.
It is.
The hybrid lab does work for all branches of the military because it is one of a kind.
Since people at Robins do all that specialized work.
Welcome back. They are one of the most polished groups that military families never want to see coming. They're the Robins Air Force Base Honor Guard, which delivers final respects at funerals from Cordele to Kentucky. Laura Lynch-Jones went behind the lines to show you where they find the courage to confront faces filled with grief.
Same motions, same stoic faces, yet these airmen moving simultaneously marched into this assignment from different Robins units.
It's definitely a change of pace.
They come 22 at a time to Training Officer Staff Sergeant Joshua Arnett. Guardsmen arrive every 90 days, their punctuality as precise as the drills. But Arnett recalls a time when one man's emotions started out of step.
The member was very uncomfortable being around death. This was out of his comfort zone.
That's not uncommon, says Unit Manager Master Sergeant Matthew Hurlis.
This is a special calling for people. Not just anyone can handle this job.
Hurlis says few want to wrestle with the inevitable. Fewer still want to look into the eyes of families and stare grief in the face.
They vary from just sheer gratitude to utter sadness and sorrow.
To me, I wear my hat low enough that I don't necessarily look into the member's eyes. I have been pulled, tried to be pulled too. I've tried to be hugged. I've tried to have my hand held.
Protocol demands composure.
It's not easy.
Daily repetition and reliance on a higher power, they say, make it possible.
You have to have some sort of spirituality in order to deal with this.
And they lean on that often. Robins Honor Guard performed 1,400 details last year. That includes funerals like that of a Robins airman swept out to sea in Japan and more uplifting events such as change of command and retirement ceremonies.
Most of Tennessee we service as well.
They travel from South Georgia to North Carolina, crammed into Chevy vans to deliver dignity in death.
We could potentially be the last military that a family member has any contact with. So this could be the closing point of their loved one's life. And to them, it's extremely important.
For many, the honors they display come from the heart.
I mentioned I buried my best friend active duty.
My grandfather's funeral service, but that really solidified my love for the rendering honors.
Perlis and Arnett do this full time. 24-year-old airman Joshua Palaleo volunteered to heal a wound of his own.
I wasn't able to go to my cousin's funeral, so I feel it's almost a way to compensate for that.
And they get back what they give tenfold.
Letters of appreciation, cards received from the family.
Handwritten commendations fill a pegboard outside their drill room. Each note, motivation to keep up the mission when emotion weighs them down.
Your legs start to get tired or your arms start to get stiff. You think about those words and realize this is why I'm here, this is what I'm supposed to do. You know, I won't fail.
It's not an option. They say a life of service demands discipline and unyielding dedication. At Robins Air Force Base, Laura Lynch Jones, 13 WMAZ Eyewitness News.
The airmen are appointed for 90-day rotations on the Honor Guard. They learn their tasks in 1 week of training. Just learning to fold the flag properly, that takes a day.
This special show on the road from Warner Robins. Now, if history is the best teacher, then Bill Head would be one of the greatest students. He's been at Robins Air Force Base as their historian for the past 30 years. I went behind the lines to find out how among the encyclopedias and the archives, Head's become a bit of a relic himself.
30 years ago, good God.
Bill Head didn't intend to become part of the scenery. He moved into the Robins History Office in 1984 to write a few books, punch out a few base annuals.
Can you imagine doing a history on a manual typewriter? That was horrendous.
Quickly, he found himself immersed in tales of Air Force pioneers, war heroes, and the softer side of generals.
I used to have on my wall a letter that was written by General Robins to his mother announcing the birth of his first child.
He dug deep to the roots of Robins, found himself exploring the first hangars. Archived footage and personal stories became his time capsule.
Fewer and fewer people realize all the really important things we did. I mean, we have been at the heart of every major war and contingency this nation has fought.
From spark plugs that kept the planes in the Berlin airlift flying to becoming the Air Force's top producer of parachutes, Head unearthed Robins' buried treasures.
I'll tell you one of the neatest stories.
And a few nuggets that some wanted forever lost in the files, like during World War II when planners camouflaged the whole base, an attempt to prevent aerial attack. Problem was, they camoed the runway, too.
The pilots would go, where the heck is the darn place I'm supposed to be landing? They couldn't see it.
Sand dyed in food coloring and spread around the runway edges solved the problem. Still, it's one of the many lessons Head says history taught Robins not to repeat.
The Air Force and military are real good about lessons learned.
And he would argue studies of the past push them toward a more efficient, effective future, doing more with less, even in his own area of expertise.
Now, it's kind of tight.
Most days, he's the lone archaeologist of the archives, staying on to keep watch of the treasures long after other historians moved on.
And once you commit to that long,
the memories and mementos piled up, so much so that the history and Head seem one and the same.
A lot of people have told me that. They say, you're so old, you're just part of the woodwork. No one's irreplaceable. Somebody always step in and keep the ball rolling.
Look no further than the books and pictures that line the walls, he says. It's a lesson from history that always turns out the same.
Now, Head wouldn't say exactly when he plans to retire, but he does have an idea in mind. Now, an interesting fact that he shared that back in the 1940s when the base was named, Warner Robins was called Wellston. The base planners convinced the City of Fathers to change the name to Warner Robins to honor a General Augustin Warner Robins. He died around the time the base opened, and he was considered the father of logistics in the Air Force. So there's some history for you.
Yeah,
man.
I'd heard some of that story before, but I've forgotten some of the pieces, but that's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
I love history.
I think the Founding Fathers would be proud of this event that they're having
incredibly
tonight.
proud. And we're